Nobody came to my college graduation. I graduated and I went through the graduating ceremony without one person in my entire family or my friends attending my graduation to help me celebrate my accomplishment. My best friend Heather was there, and her fiance and his family were there to celebrate with her, but my family didn't think it was that big of a deal, I guess. I was hurt, but I tried not to let it show. I tried to pretend it wasn't that big of a deal either, otherwise, I would have been crying the whole time. In reality, I was surprised that it wasn't a bigger deal to them because I was the first person in my entire family, both mother and father, and stepmother and stepfather, and siblings and cousins, that had ever even considered going to college, let alone actually graduate. I knew what a big accomplishment it was, and I was going to celebrate and go through the ceremony even if there wasn't anyone in my life growing up to help me celebrate. Not even my dad, who only lived 45 minutes away. He and my stepmom had a new baby boy. I finally had a brother. I was super excited about this. I always wanted a brother. I would try to visit them when I would drive up north. I would stop briefly in Canyon Country to see my dad and stepmom and my little brother and sister, but I couldn't make it every single time. My dad seemed to get pretty upset with me if I wouldn't make it. He would think I was being rude. I would tell him I wasn't trying to be rude. I was just trying to do what was best for me, and sometimes I just couldn't make it. Apparently, one time they waited and waited for me, and I didn't show up, and there were Christmas presents that they wanted to give me. Well, I guess because I didn't make it that one time, I was now just a horrible person. So my dad would punish me by not coming to see me or attending my concerts or coming to my college graduation. There was that pain again, that one in my chest, that dull, aching pain of loneliness, or whatever it was. Just ignore it, it'll go away. They didn't know what they were doing. I was a college graduate, and I was going to be able to make money doing what I love to do, move my body. It was their loss, not mine. I was also sure that they would forgive me eventually. In my mind, it was a no-brainer. From that very first Pilates class at CSULB, I knew that Pilates was what I wanted to do to make money. It was the best of both worlds to me, and a natural transition. I was prepped and ready to learn all I could about Pilates. I had received my Bachelor of Fine Arts. All I needed to do was go through my Pilates certification. There was an opportunity that came up, though, at my old high school back in Prunedale. They needed another dance teacher. The teacher, who was the same teacher that I started the dance company with, wanted to cut back on the number of classes she was teaching, so they were hiring another dance teacher. All I needed to do was pass the CBEST test. And I did. So I was hired at my old high school for a semester. But I had also auditioned for a Los Angeles-based dance company, Benita Bike's Dance Art Company. I remember fighting hard to get into it, but I made it, and I was prepped and ready for that as well. I performed with this company about twice a year. So the plan was, marry Jim. He would move to Southern California with me, and I would live in Hollister with his parents and teach at my old high school during the week and travel back to Orange County on Fridays to take my Pilates session and go to rehearsal for Benita on Saturdays and drive back to Prunedale on Sunday to start my work week. This is exactly what happened. I choreographed 6 dance numbers for the students to perform in the semi-annual concert that I was assistant director of. I taught 2 dance classes a day, Monday through Friday. It was a sweet gig. I felt well on my way to having everything I ever wanted in life. There was just one small problem. I didn't really want to marry Jim. There were so many things that happened during our relationship, like back in high school when I saw the drawings of penises on his notes, or the time I walked in on him masturbating in the shower like his dick was going to fall off if he didn't, or the time after high school when he got arrested for soliciting a prostitute on Soledad Street. He said it was just a dare from his friends, and of course, the times that he raped me. After I accepted his proposal, we still lived in different cities, so we only had one weekend to plan our entire wedding. We met in Prunedale where we were going to have a wedding. But Saturday morning, when it came time to go find a church and a reception hall, he decided to go golfing with his buddies instead of helping me plan our wedding. I was not at all down with that. I told my mother, I don't want to marry Jim. She turns to me and says through her gritted teeth, You get in that car right now. We're going to find a church. I was still stupid enough to do what she told me to do, like she had the final word in whom I marry. It ended up being a pretty little wedding in a non-denominational church. The bridesmaids wore royal blue velour, handmade by Sister Barth, knee-length dresses that were cow-necked in the front and low in the back. And instead of carrying bouquets, since it was a winter wedding, they carried royal blue velour hand muffs. I was absolutely beautiful, with a form-fitting beaded long gown that was also low in the back with strands of pearls draped across the back and a detachable long train that I detached when we arrived at the reception. A simple white crown headpiece. I was slim, like I always thought I should be. I had paid for my own braces, so my teeth were nice and straight. I wanted to smile big. My dad walked me down the aisle, and he seemed so excited and so happy. We giggled a lot, but what he didn't know was I was terrified, and I thought I would pass out. I was hyperventilating as I walked down the aisle. All of my high school and some of my college friends were there. My high school best friend was my maid of honor. My college best friend choreographed and performed a dance piece during the reception. I was hoping to give my high school friends and family an idea of how my dancing had matured by going to college. Everything was going as planned until my mother forgot my going away outfit. I was supposed to change from my wedding dress to leave the reception. I had a beautiful white pantsuit that was draped with a piece of white chiffon that attached from the right hip and ran diagonally down the front of the pants to attach to the left leg, and the back side of the top jacket was all white chiffon that hung lower in the back. But my mom forgot to bring the outfit, so I had to borrow a dress from my college best friend Heather, and even though the dress was cute, a little black dress with long fringe from the waist to the knee, I was very disappointed in my mother for forgetting to pick up this outfit at the cleaners before she arrived. It was the only thing I asked her to be in charge of, and she forgets? I felt I was doing all this for her. She should at least be willing to make things happen the way I want them to. But anyway, I changed in my departing dress, and then I realized that Jim was nowhere to be found. I eventually found him standing next to the keg, drunker than a skunk. Apparently, it was his duty to have a shot of Jack Daniels with every one of his groomsmen. There were 8. I had to drive to our hotel room. When we arrived to get our room, which was a master suite with an extra room, but the door connecting the extra room was locked, so I had to call the desk to come and unlock the door. As the attendant is unlocking it, he is trying not to laugh at Jim because he is so drunk. The attendant says, "Oh, did you guys just get back from a wedding?" And I reply, "Yes, mine, and I would like to get on with the wedding night, thank you very much." He finally leaves, and Jim opens the door to the next room, and he looks and yells, "It's a fucking football field!" And he runs to the other end and back, and then continues to repeat this action several times. I have almost impossible time getting him to calm down and be somewhat romantic with me. It didn't work. He finally passed out, and the next morning the first thing that came to my mind was, I have made a huge mistake.